The sky over Earth was calm that evening, but the calm was only on the surface. Far above, beyond the clouds and beyond the reach of human sight, fleets of alien ships gathered silently in orbit. They glimmered like silver stars, each ship larger, and stranger than anything humans had ever imagined. Some were shaped like vast triangles, others like spheres that seemed to float without sound, and a few resembled floating towers of crystal. The hum of alien engines vibrated faintly through the atmosphere, but humans could not feel it, yet the entire planet was about to change forever. In the heart of Geneva, the United Nations held an emergency session. Leaders from every nation had been summoned, their faces tense with worry. The news had come from the deepest reaches of space. The Galactic Council, a governing body of countless intelligent species scattered across the galaxy, had voted to enslave Earth. For millions of years, humans had lived without knowing they were part of a larger cosmic community. Now, every species capable of voting had agreed that humanity should be controlled. Ambassador Lee spoke first, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "This is not a drill. We are no longer alone. Our planet is being judged by species far older and more advanced than us. They have voted, and the vote is clear. They intend to take control of our world." A murmur ran through the assembly. Scientists, politicians, and military leaders exchanged worried glances. Some whispered in disbelief. How could so many species, so many different civilizations, agree on one decision about Earth? Dr. Amar Singh, a leading astrophysicist, stood. "We must remember they do not know us well. Every species that voted has limited contact with Earth. They see only what they imagine about humans. That is our advantage. We can prepare." Preparation. The word echoed in every mind. But prepare for what? No one had faced an enemy like this before. No one had ever faced an entire galaxy united against them. Outside, the first alien ships lowered themselves into the upper atmosphere. Massive screens lit up the skies with symbols and colors beyond human understanding. Then, the first communication arrived. A voice, neither male nor female, spoke in perfect English, though its tone was hollow and mechanical. "People of Earth," it said, "we are the Galactic Council. Your planet has been assessed. The vote has concluded. You will submit to our authority. Resistance will be met with consequences." The message ended, and silence followed. The humans in Geneva stared at each other, hearts pounding. Resistance? Consequences? What could they possibly do against such overwhelming power? Yet, in the quiet of that moment, a small spark of something familiar ignited. Determination. Humans were never meant to be passive. Even in their history, against impossible odds, they had adapted, survived, and overcome. Admiral Sofia Cortez of the United Earth Defense Force spoke with authority. "We don't yet know the full extent of their power. But we have something they do not fully understand: human ingenuity. We will observe, we will learn, and we will prepare." Across the planet, scientists worked around the clock. Satellites scanned the alien fleets, trying to understand their composition and capabilities. Engineers designed strategies that were as creative as they were risky. Citizens were informed not to panic but to stay indoors as a precaution. Schools, workplaces, and cities adjusted to the presence of an alien threat that no one had ever faced. Meanwhile, in orbit, alien ambassadors held a meeting aboard the largest ship. They were beings of many forms, some with translucent skin, others with scales, some with wings, and others without any recognizable limbs at all. They spoke in tones and gestures that humans could not perceive from Earth. All agreed that Earth should be controlled, yet none had considered the possibility that humans could fight back in ways they could not predict. Back on Earth, a team of engineers led by Dr. Singh made a breakthrough. Using patterns they observed in the alien fleet's movements, they discovered subtle weaknesses. The ships relied heavily on coordinated energy pulses to maintain formation. A well-timed disruption could interfere with their systems. It was a small advantage, but it was a start. At the same time, diplomats began tentative communication. Human ambassadors sent messages not of surrender, but of curiosity and negotiation. They asked questions about the Council, about alien motives, and about the rules that governed interstellar relations. Some messages were ignored, others were met with surprise. One alien delegation, for the first time, paused their operations to respond. On the streets of New York, London, Tokyo, and Mumbai, people watched the skies. Alien lights shimmered above, a constant reminder of the vote against them. Yet, instead of despair, communities began to organize. Engineers, students, and volunteers shared knowledge. People rebuilt infrastructure, not just for survival, but to support communication, transportation, and defense. The human spirit, tested and strong, began to shine. In a quiet room beneath the United Nations building, Ambassador Lee, Dr. Singh, and Admiral Cortez gathered around a holographic display of the alien fleets. "We can't fight them directly," Dr. Singh said, "but we can think like they do. We can find patterns, exploit weaknesses, and show them that humanity is not easily controlled." Admiral Cortez nodded. "We will defend Earth, not just with weapons, but with strategy, knowledge, and unity. If they underestimate us, it will be their greatest mistake," Ambassador Lee added, "and we will do it without surrendering our values. Humanity is not just clever or strong. We are resilient. We care for each other. That is something no alien species fully understands." That night, the sky over Earth remained filled with alien ships. But below, humans did not sleep in fear. They worked, studied, and planned. Across the globe, a silent promise spread. Earth would not be taken without a fight. Not a fight of hatred or violence, but a fight of intelligence, courage, and ingenuity. And, somewhere in the vastness of space, the Galactic Council continued to watch, confident in their victory. They did not yet know that humanity had already begun to turn the game in its favor. For Earth, the vote had been made. But for humans, the real journey had just begun. The alien flagship hovered above the Pacific Ocean, massive and silent, casting a shadow that stretched for miles. Its surface shimmered with lights and patterns that seemed alive, constantly shifting in ways humans could not fully understand. From the control room aboard the ship, hundreds of alien delegates observed Earth. They had expected fear, confusion, and quick submission. What they did not expect was calm determination. On the ocean's surface, a human fleet approached in formation. It was a small armada of Earth's most advanced ships, carrying scientists, diplomats, and military advisors. Their mission was not to attack, but to communicate, to learn, and to observe. Among them was Dr. Amar Singh, still full of quiet confidence, and Ambassador Lee, who understood the stakes better than anyone. As the human delegation ascended the flagship via an anti-gravity transport, the aliens waited. Their forms were varied. Some had long, slender limbs, translucent skin, or crystalline bodies. Others seemed almost like living machines. Their eyes, or equivalents, studied the humans with curiosity mixed with caution. A single alien stepped forward to speak. Its voice was melodic yet precise, echoing in the vast chamber. "People of Earth, you have been chosen to submit. Resistance is unnecessary. Explain why you approach us voluntarily." Ambassador Lee straightened. "We approach not to resist, but to understand. We want to learn about you, your intentions, and your culture. Only then can we find a solution that benefits all." The alien seemed puzzled. In most cases across the galaxy, submission was immediate. Humans, however, were different. Their curiosity, confidence, and willingness to communicate were unlike anything the aliens had encountered. Dr. Singh stepped forward. We also wished to demonstrate that Earth is not helpless. We can learn quickly and adapt. Cooperation benefits both sides, but underestimation could lead to mistakes. We hope you are willing to see our potential." For a moment, the chamber was silent. The aliens exchanged glances, a form of communication humans could not hear. Then the lead delegate nodded. "Very well. You will have limited access to our technology. Show us your abilities." Human scientists activated portable devices they had developed over months. They projected holograms of energy flow, gravitational, manipulation, and coordinated patterns that impressed even the advanced aliens. For every alien demonstration, humans provided a counter-example, showing innovation, creativity, and rapid understanding. One alien, named Clyra by translation devices, observed with fascination. "Your species solves problems in ways we did, not predict. You analyze, adapt, and invent rapidly." Dr. Singh smiled slightly. "We have always adapted. Innovation is part of being human. We learn from observation, and we act with imagination. That is why we are here today, to show you that Earth is not simply a planet to control." While the aliens observed, Ambassador Lee subtly tested their reactions. She asked questions about alien culture, governance, and values. Some delegates responded with patience, others with confusion. Humans noticed patterns. The aliens valued efficiency, direct communication, and compliance above emotion. Yet they had weaknesses: rigid procedures and over-reliance on structured protocols. On the ship's observation deck, Dr. Singh noticed energy flows that powered the alien fleet. They rely heavily on coordinated energy pulses for communication and propulsion, he whispered. A disruption in timing could create openings. We must study this carefully. Meanwhile, the human diplomats focused on negotiation. They did not demand respect, but they did not bow to fear. Ambassador Lee spoke clearly, showing humility, intelligence, and moral reasoning. "We seek partnership, not war. We wish to show that humanity can contribute positively to the galaxy. But enslaving Earth will create conflict you may not anticipate." The aliens paused at her words. No species had ever argued so calmly and so logically against the Council's decision. It was an unfamiliar experience. Days passed as humans remained aboard the flagship. They observed alien rituals, technology, and social structure. They learned without judgment, adapted without arrogance, and subtly demonstrated human strengths, cooperation, creativity, and moral reasoning. Back on Earth, citizens watched with a mixture of awe and fear. Reports streamed in of human delegates, interacting with aliens in ways that were respectful, intelligent, and surprisingly effective. Confidence spread among humans, not arrogance, but hope, the first sign that Earth could face the galaxy without despair. During one session, Clyra tested the humans. "Your species is clever, yet untrained in interstellar matters. A challenge will determine your true capacity. Solve this without harming yourselves or others." A simulation appeared on the chamber floor. It involved complex gravitational patterns and energy flows designed to disrupt and confuse. Humans studied it carefully. Dr. Singh coordinated a team of engineers and mathematicians. They experimented, made mistakes, learned, and adapted quickly. Within hours, they found a solution that even impressed the aliens. Clyra's tone, once sharp, softened slightly. "You exceed our expectations. Perhaps we underestimated your potential. Continue, and we may learn from each other." Ambassador Lee nodded. "That is all we ask. Observation, learning, and understanding. We are not your enemy. We are potential partners." Even the other delegates began to whisper among themselves. The vote to enslave Earth had assumed humans would submit immediately. But the demonstration of intelligence, patience, and adaptability created doubt. Humanity was no longer just a species to control. It was a species that could surprise, inspire, and challenge. In the quiet of the human transport chamber, Dr. Singh spoke to Ambassador Lee. Every species has weaknesses. They value order, control, and predictability. Humans bring creativity, adaptability, and moral reasoning. That combination is rare in the galaxy. Ambassador Lee smiled. And they cannot underestimate us if we continue to show our strengths. We will protect Earth, not with fear, but with intelligence and unity. That is our true power. As the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, Clyra approached. People of Earth, your actions aboard this ship have been noted. You are different from what the Council expected. We will report your behavior. Perhaps this vote requires reconsideration. The words were subtle but powerful. For the first time, humans had earned not only attention, but respect. They had not yet defeated the Council, but they had shifted perception. Back on Earth, as the delegation returned, celebrations were muted but full of pride. Citizens understood that humans had survived the first true test of their place in the galaxy. They had learned about the Council, the aliens, and their own strengths. They had also proven that courage, intelligence, and cooperation could change expectations even when faced with overwhelming power. And somewhere in orbit, the alien Council began to whisper among themselves, for the humans of Earth had become more than just a planet to conquer. They were a species with potential that no vote could fully suppress. The real challenge had only begun. Humanity had shown the first signs of what it meant to be resilient, clever, and united. The Council had not yet seen the full measure of Earth's strength, but they were beginning to realize that perhaps underestimating humans had been their first mistake. Earth had survived the first encounter with the alien Council, but humans knew that survival alone would not be enough. The Council was vast, powerful, and united in its goal to control the planet. Humanity needed an advantage, something that no alien had anticipated. Deep in the deserts of Egypt, Dr. Amar Singh led a small team of scientists and engineers to a location that had long been ignored by modern explorers. Hidden beneath layers of sand and rock, they uncovered a structure unlike any human creation, a massive chamber filled with machinery that hummed faintly, as if waiting for someone to understand it. This is incredible, Dr. Singh whispered. It's not from any civilization we know. The design, the energy flow, it's advanced beyond our current science. The device, covered in symbols and strange glyphs, seemed almost alive. As they examined it, small energy pulses danced across the walls. It responded to human touch, but not in ways that humans fully understood. Dr. Singh realized that this was more than a machine. It was a tool, perhaps even a weapon, that could manipulate energy and gravity on a scale no alien technology had. Yet demonstrated, Ambassador Lee arrived to observe the team. If this works, she said carefully, it could change everything. We could defend Earth without fighting, simply by understanding and using what we've discovered. The team worked tirelessly. For weeks, they studied the device, mapping energy flows, decoding symbols, and testing small experiments. It became clear that the device could amplify human ingenuity. It could turn a simple calculation into a massive energy output, or focus, gravitational forces to shift objects with minimal effort. It was subtle, precise, and potentially transformative. Meanwhile, news of alien activity continued across the globe. The fleets remained in orbit, and communication with some species grew tense. Yet humans on Earth did not panic. They had something the Council had not anticipated: the ability to adapt, learn, and now a secret tool that could level the playing field. Dr. Singh gathered the team in the chamber one evening. "We are on the edge of understanding something remarkable," he said. "This device could help us create defensive measures that the Council cannot predict. But we must be careful. If the aliens discover it before we are ready, it could become a target. They agreed on a strict protocol, secrecy above all. Only a handful of trusted scientists, engineers, and diplomats would know the full scope of the device. The rest of humanity would continue preparing in visible ways, building ships, developing communication networks, and learning alien languages. All the while, the hidden technology would remain a silent advantage, a secret that could turn fear into hope. On the flagship orbiting Earth, the Alien Council continued its discussions. Some delegates, like Clyra, were growing wary. "These humans, they adapt too quickly," she said. "They observe, learn, and apply knowledge in ways that are unexpected." Another delegate, metallic and angular in form, replied, "They are clever, but we outnumber them. Their victories are minor, temporary distractions. The vote is clear." Yet the doubt had begun. Even among a council united for conquest, the seeds of hesitation were sprouting. Humans were demonstrating qualities the council had never accounted for: creativity, resilience, and intelligence. Back on Earth, Dr. Singh and his team began the first full test of the ancient device. A small unmanned vehicle was lifted using the device's energy manipulation capabilities. It hovered, rotated, and moved with precision that even the best human engineering could not achieve. "It's working," Dr. Singh said, awe in his voice. "We can manipulate energy fields, gravity, even movement itself. This is more than defense, it's potential. Potential the Council cannot yet measure." Ambassador Lee added, "And it is powered not by destruction, but by knowledge. We are learning, understanding, and applying. That is what humans do best." As the days passed, the team discovered more functions: energy shields that could protect entire cities, focused pulses that could disable alien communications temporarily, and even ways to predict patterns in the fleet's energy usage. Every discovery brought hope. Earth was no longer a passive target. In orbit, Clyra noticed small anomalies. "Our systems are being disrupted in ways we cannot trace," she said, frowning. "The humans are doing something. They are not fighting directly, but they are influencing our technology." Another alien delegate disagreed. "It is minor interference. Do not overestimate them." But Clara was not convinced. She had seen humans adapt, learn, and innovate faster than any other species she had encountered. The vote to enslave Earth, once so confident, now seemed less certain. Meanwhile, on Earth, the human team had another breakthrough. They realized the device could be combined with human ships, creating hybrid systems capable of long-range energy manipulation. These ships could defend cities, disrupt fleets, or provide shields without harming anyone. It was defensive power that required intelligence, not violence. "This changes everything," Dr. Singh said. "We can protect ourselves and still remain true to our values. The Council expects fear and aggression. We will give them respect, strategy, and resilience." Ambassador Lee nodded. "And they will not see it coming. Our secret advantage will allow us to negotiate, to defend, and to demonstrate that humans are not a species to enslave." The world above watched quietly. Alien fleets continued their presence in orbit, unaware of the secret awakening below. Humans, once perceived as weak and unprepared, were quietly mastering a technology that could shift the balance of power. Even the Council's whispers now carried caution. The human species, small and seemingly fragile, had discovered a hidden strength, one that combined intelligence, curiosity, and the courage to explore the unknown. Dr. Singh, standing before the glowing chamber, reflected on humanity's journey. "We were born on this planet. We survived countless challenges. Now we face the greatest challenge of all, a galaxy that wishes to control us. But we are not helpless. We adapt, we learn, and we protect. That is humanity. And so, beneath the sands of Earth, a secret advantage grew. A tool forgotten by time, yet perfectly suited for humans. It would remain hidden until the moment it was needed most. A reminder that even when the odds seemed impossible, humanity's ingenuity could turn despair into hope. For the first time in the galaxy's long memory, Earth had a weapon the Council could not predict. Not a weapon of destruction, but of intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. The vote to enslave Earth might still stand, but the first cracks in the Council's certainty were forming. The real test had only just begun. Humanity's journey, from survival to dominance in the eyes of the galaxy, was underway. Earth's nights were quiet again, but humans were far from idle. In secret laboratories across the world, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. The ancient device discovered in Egypt had been studied, understood, and adapted into small-scale prototypes that could be tested safely. These tests allowed humans to manipulate energy fields, shields, and even minor gravitational effects. The true potential of the technology remained hidden, but it was enough to begin a new phase. Subtle demonstrations. Admiral Sofia Cortez coordinated the first trial. Human ships patrolled the skies near the alien fleets, moving in patterns that seemed ordinary at first glance. Then, with precise timing, energy pulses from the hidden technology disrupted the alien ships' communication grids for mere seconds. Each disruption was short, non-violent, and carefully calculated, but it caused confusion in the alien formations. Back on the flagship, Clyra noticed the anomalies. "Our communications are failing in small pockets," she said, frowning. "It is not a system error. Something is interfering, intelligently." Another delegate looked dismissive. "Humans are clever, but insignificant. Minor disruptions do not change the Council's vote." But Clyra was unconvinced. She had observed humans aboard the flagship and knew that their ingenuity was extraordinary. What unsettled her most was not the disruptions themselves, but the way humans coordinated them. They were organized, adaptable, and creative, qualities the Council had underestimated. On Earth, the public remained largely unaware of the full scope of the operation. Citizens were informed that human forces were monitoring alien activity and developing defense measures. Yet the secret technology remained hidden beneath the deserts, oceans, and mountains, safe from prying eyes. Dr. Amar Singh explained to his team, "We must continue subtle demonstrations. We cannot reveal the full extent yet. Let them believe they are in control while we prove our adaptability. Every small victory builds confidence, for us and for the Council." Ambassador Lee added, "This is also a lesson. Humans do not rely solely on force. We rely on observation, learning, and strategy. That is why we will succeed where others fail." The next demonstration was even more daring. A human fleet coordinated a display near one of the Council's observation points. Using small pulses of energy from the ancient device, they created precise gravitational shifts that allowed ships to maneuver in impossible ways. Alien sensors recorded the events, and whispers spread across the Council's fleet. "This defies logic," one alien delegate said. "They should not be able to move like this without advanced propulsion systems." Clyra nodded. "They are learning, adapting, and applying knowledge rapidly. We underestimated them. It is not just strength. They are clever, coordinated, and patient." Meanwhile, on Earth, humans also used the technology to improve infrastructure, energy distribution, and city defenses. The ancient device became a tool not of war, but of human ingenuity applied to survival. It was subtle, nonviolent, and transformative. As the weeks passed, the aliens began to notice patterns. Each disruption, each demonstration was small, controlled, and non-threatening, yet it forced the Council to reconsider assumptions. Humans were not mindless, reactive beings. They were creative, analytical, and morally aware. On the flagship, Clyra convened a meeting with other delegates. "The humans are different from anything we expected," she said. "They are not easily controlled, and they continue to surprise us. We must reconsider our approach." "But the vote," another delegate began. "The vote was based on assumption," Clyra interrupted. "Assumptions are dangerous when faced with a species like this." Back on Earth, Admiral Cortez coordinated a final demonstration of the week. Using the ancient device's energy manipulation, human fleets performed maneuvers that appeared impossible. Ships hovered, shifted, and moved in patterns that challenged alien physics. These maneuvers were non-violent, but the psychological effect was significant. Humans were proving that control would not be simple. Dr. Singh observed the displays with a mixture of awe and satisfaction. "We are not fighting them directly," he said. "We are teaching them. Every move demonstrates intelligence, coordination, and resilience. They will begin to respect us, or at least hesitate." Ambassador Lee added, "And hesitation is enough. Doubt grows when control is challenged, even subtly. The Council's vote may remain on paper, but their confidence is weakening. Even among the citizens of Earth, confidence grew. News of subtle successes, careful demonstrations, and intelligent planning spread quietly. People began to understand that humanity's strength was not in sheer power, but in intelligence, unity, and creativity. In orbit, Clyra reviewed reports. "They are learning faster than any species I have encountered," she said. "Each demonstration forces us to adjust. They adapt, they predict, they innovate. They are remarkable." Other delegates were silent. Doubt had entered their ranks. The vote to enslave Earth, once unanimous in their minds, was no longer so simple. Humans were teaching the galaxy that intelligence, strategy, and morality could be more powerful than sheer force. On Earth, the human team celebrated quietly, not with noise or arrogance, but with focus. They had not defeated the Council, but they had begun to turn the tide. The subtle demonstrations proved that humans were capable, clever, and not to be underestimated. Dr. Singh addressed the team, his voice calm but filled with determination. "We are still small compared to the Council, but every day we show our strengths. Every demonstration is a lesson in resilience, intelligence, and coordination. The Council is learning what we have always known. Humans adapt, we endure, and we solve problems no one else can." Ambassador Lee concluded, "The turning point is not just the technology, it is the way humans think. We observe, we learn, and we act with creativity and care. That is our true advantage. The Council has underestimated it for too long. And so, Earth moved from a position of fear to a position of quiet strength." The alien Council continued to watch, confused and cautious. Humans, once seen as weak, were proving that intelligence, unity, and creativity could challenge even the most confident conquerors. The vote to enslave Earth had been made, but the turning point was clear. The Council had underestimated humans. Their ingenuity, patience, and moral reasoning had begun to shift perception. The galaxy, vast and ancient, was beginning to notice a small, resilient species on a blue planet. A species that could adapt, learn, and innovate in ways no one had expected. A species that was not just surviving, but quietly preparing to change the balance of power forever. The first cracks in the Council's certainty were visible. Humanity's journey had entered a new phase, one of subtle power, strategy, and undeniable promise. The real question was not whether humans could survive, but how far their ingenuity could take them, and somewhere in the silent depths of space, the Council whispered among themselves, for the humans of Earth had become more than a planet to conquer. They were a species that could not be easily ignored. The skies above Earth were filled with alien ships, their presence a constant reminder of the Council's vote. But humans no longer saw them with fear. They saw opportunity. They had prepared quietly, studied diligently, and mastered the ancient technology that had been hidden beneath Earth's surface for centuries. Now it was time to reveal their true capabilities. Admiral Sofia Cortez stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, her eyes fixed on the alien fleet. "Today, we will show them who we are," she said firmly. "Not with anger or weapons, but with intelligence, strategy, and unity. We will make them see that enslaving Earth would be a mistake." Dr. Amar Singh activated the ancient device, now fully integrated with human technology. Ships across the world aligned their energy fields, forming a network of power that could manipulate gravitational and energy flows on a large scale. The display was both beautiful and intimidating. Ships hovered effortlessly, shields shimmered with unseen energy, and pulses of power shifted subtly across the skies. In orbit, Clyra noticed the sudden change. "What is this?" she whispered. "Their technology, it is beyond our expectations, and yet they control it with precision, not aggression." Ambassador Lee's voice came through communication channels to the Council's flagship. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to demonstrate that Earth is not a planet to be dominated. We value life, knowledge, and cooperation. But we will defend ourselves and our home with everything we have learned." The humans began coordinated maneuvers that combined the ancient device's capabilities with advanced fleet operations. They disrupted alien communications, created protective energy barriers around cities, and even redirected small parts of the Council's energy flow. Every action was precise, controlled, and non-violent, yet it forced the Council to reconsider. One of the Council delegates, a crystalline being named Thrin, spoke urgently. "Their actions, they are not destructive, yet they dominate our energy patterns. This is unprecedented." Clyra nodded. "We underestimated them. Every species we have observed relies on direct force. Humans rely on intelligence, adaptation, and morality. That is why they are succeeding." On Earth, citizens watched in awe as the skies came alive with coordinated displays of human innovation. Ships moved in patterns that seemed impossible, shields shimmered protectively, and energy pulses danced like lightning without harm. Humans cheered quietly, not with violence, but with pride in their ingenuity. Dr. Singh addressed Admiral Cortez and Ambassador Lee. "They expected fear and chaos. Instead, we are demonstrating strategy, unity, and intelligence. This is our greatest strength. It is not weapons. They do not understand our creativity, our problem-solving, our adaptability." Ambassador Lee agreed. "We are showing the Council that control is not possible without respect. Intelligence, coordination, and moral strength are far more powerful than force alone." In orbit, Clyra convened a council meeting. The delegates argued quietly, for once unsure of the right approach. "We have never faced a species that challenges us in this way," Thrin said. "They do not fight, yet they influence everything. How do we proceed?" Another delegate, metallic and angular, replied, "Perhaps we underestimated humans. They are not ordinary. If we continue our plan to enslave them, it could backfire." Clyra spoke again. "We must reconsider. Their abilities are real, their unity is strong, and their creativity. It is unlike any species we have encountered." Back on Earth, human demonstrations continued. They used the technology not to harm, but to create defensive shields around cities, redirect energy, and even perform precise simulations that outmaneuvered alien strategies. Each action was a lesson. Humans were capable, intelligent, and prepared. Dr. Singh activated the final sequence of the demonstration. A massive energy pulse, perfectly controlled, shifted the gravitational flow of a small asteroid without harm, moving it safely into orbit. The Council delegates watched in astonishment. Humans had turned potential destruction into precise control. Ambassador Lee addressed the council one final time. We have shown you that humans are not a species to enslave. We value life, knowledge, and cooperation, but we will protect ourselves and our planet. Any attempt to dominate us would only create conflict. We ask for respect, not fear. For the first time, the council paused. The vote to enslave Earth, once seen as inevitable, was no longer certain. Humans had demonstrated not only technology but intelligence, strategy, and moral reasoning. The delegates realized that the planet they had assumed would be easy to control was anything but. Clyra spoke privately to other delegates. We assumed control would be simple. We underestimated humanity. They are clever, adaptable, and morally aware. We cannot proceed as planned without reconsidering. Thrin added, every move they make is calculated. Every action shows unity and intelligence. They do not attack, yet they dominate our perception. They are remarkable. On Earth, the human team celebrated quietly. Not with arrogance, but with relief and pride. They had shown the galaxy that humans were more than a planet to conquer. They were a species capable of innovation, strategy, and moral strength. Admiral Cortez addressed the fleet. This is just the beginning. The Council has seen our capabilities, but they do not yet know our full potential. Today we have gained respect. Tomorrow we will gain equality among the stars. Dr. Singh added, we have proven that force is not the only measure of power. Intelligence, creativity, and unity are just as important, sometimes more so. The Council will remember this lesson. In orbit, Clyra looked at the human fleet with something close to admiration. Perhaps we judged too quickly. Perhaps humanity deserves a different path than the one we planned. The Council began a reconsideration. The vote to enslave Earth was still on record, but its certainty had vanished. Humans had shifted perception through skill, intelligence, and moral reasoning, proving that no vote alone could define their destiny. Back on Earth, the skies were calm once more. Ships returned to their bases, energy pulses stabilized, and citizens went about their lives, aware that humanity had just passed the greatest test in its history. They had survived the vote, gained respect, and demonstrated that cleverness, unity, and moral strength could challenge even the most confident conquerors. The real lesson was clear. Humans did not need to rely on brute force to protect their planet. They relied on intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation, the true hallmarks of their species. And the Council, once confident in its decision, now faced a species it could not easily predict or control. The galaxy had seen the human surprise. The vote to enslave Earth was no longer a certainty. Respect had been earned, and mercy, it seemed, might soon follow. Humanity had shown its strength, not in violence, but in intelligence, creativity, and moral courage. The journey was far from over, but the turning point had arrived. Earth was no longer a planet to conquer. It was a force to be acknowledged. And somewhere in the stars, the Council whispered among themselves, realizing that underestimating humans had been their first and possibly greatest mistake. The alien fleets hovered above Earth, a silent reminder of the Council's power. But something had changed. For weeks, humans had demonstrated intelligence, strategy, and moral strength. They had shown the galaxy that Earth was not a planet to control through fear or force. And now the Council was beginning to realize that the vote to enslave Earth might have been a mistake. On the largest alien flagship, Clyra gathered the delegates for an emergency meeting. The humans are unlike any species we have encountered, she began. They do not rely on brute force. They adapt, learn, and act with unity and precision. Every display, every maneuver, every solution, they prove time and again that they cannot be controlled as we assumed. Thrin, crystalline and sharp-eyed, spoke carefully. Their ancient technology, combined with their intelligence, has given them the ability to defend themselves in ways we cannot predict. They do not attack, yet they dominate our perception of power. Perhaps we underestimated them. Another delegate, metallic and angular, hesitated before speaking. If we continue with the vote, it could lead to conflict we cannot manage. Humans have shown restraint, intelligence, and morality. They are not ordinary. They are remarkable. Clyra nodded. Agreed. We must act wisely. The vote to enslave Earth may no longer reflect reality. We must approach them with caution and respect. Back on Earth, Admiral Sophia Cortez stood, with Ambassador Lee and Dr. Amar Singh on the observation deck of their flagship. The Council is hesitating, Cortez said. They have begun to doubt. We have shifted perception, but the question now is, how far will they go? Dr. Singh smiled quietly. We do not need to force their respect. We have already earned it through intelligence, strategy, and moral action. They will have to reconsider. They have seen what we are capable of, and mercy may follow naturally. Ambassador Lee added, humans have demonstrated that strength is not only about power. Intelligence, unity, and morality can be just as persuasive. Now, the Council must face the truth. They cannot control us without their own loss of respect and stability. In orbit, the human demonstration began once more. Ships moved in coordinated patterns, energy shields shimmered protectively around cities, and pulses of energy shifted gravitational flows with precise control. Every action was non-violent, yet unmistakably powerful. The humans were showing the Council that they could defend themselves, adapt, and thrive without destroying anything. Clyra observed the displays carefully. They are patient, precise, and cooperative. They are teaching us a lesson in leadership, not domination. Thrin added, they do not seek conquest, they seek understanding. And yet their capabilities are undeniable. We must consider a new approach. The Council convened an extraordinary vote. The delegates, once confident in enslaving Earth, now debated mercy and respect. They recognized that humans had not only survived the vote, but had transformed the perception of their species. The ancient device, human ingenuity and moral reasoning had created a new reality. Earth could not be dominated without consequences. Finally, Clyra spoke. We recognized that our initial decision was based on assumption, not understanding. Humans have shown intelligence, creativity, unity, and moral strength that surpass expectations. We propose a reversal of the vote. Earth shall remain free, and humans shall be treated with respect. The other delegates agreed. One by one, they voted to revoke the original decision. The Council's decision to enslave Earth had been overturned. Humanity had survived, not through violence, but through intelligence, ingenuity, and moral courage. Back on Earth, the news arrived. The skies cleared of alien fleets, and communication channels opened for peaceful dialogue. Citizens cheered not in anger but in relief and pride. They had faced a galaxy united against them and had earned not only survival, but respect. Admiral Cortez addressed the people from Earth's flagship. Today, humanity has proven that we are capable, clever, and morally strong. We have faced the greatest challenge in our history and emerged with our planet, our freedom, and our dignity intact. This is not the victory of force, but the victory of intelligence, cooperation, and courage. Dr. Singh added, we have shown the galaxy that humans are more than a species to conquer. We are a species to respect. Our journey has just begun, but today marks a turning point. Let this be a reminder. Knowledge, strategy, and moral strength are as powerful as any weapon. Ambassador Lee spoke to the world. We have demonstrated that mercy, understanding, and cooperation are possible. Even when faced with overwhelming odds, The Council has learned to respect humanity, and we have learned the same. This is the beginning of a new era. An era where humans participate in the galaxy not as subjects, but as equals. Across the universe, alien species took note. News of Earth's resilience spread quickly, and humans became examples of ingenuity, unity, and moral courage. They had turned a vote for enslavement into a lesson for the entire galaxy. Intelligence and morality cannot be underestimated. On the Council's flagship, Clyra reflected on the events. "Perhaps we have learned the greatest lesson of all," she said. "Power alone is not enough. Respect, intelligence, and moral strength are equally important. Humans have reminded us that a species' value is not measured by submission, but by its capacity to think, adapt, and act with honor." Thrin agreed. "They have taught us humility. They have shown us a path we had not considered, that strength and morality can coexist, and that intelligence can reshape the future." Back on Earth, humanity celebrated quietly, aware that their victory was not only survival, but also the respect of the galaxy. Citizens returned to their lives, inspired by the reminder that courage, intelligence, and moral action could overcome even the greatest challenges. The ancient device, now understood and mastered, became a symbol of human ingenuity. It was not used for destruction, but for learning, defense, and discovery, a reminder that knowledge and cooperation were the greatest strengths of humanity. In the skies, the alien fleets withdrew, leaving Earth peaceful and free. The Council opened channels of communication, seeking dialogue instead of domination. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not as subjects, but as equals. Admiral Cortez, standing on the observation deck, spoke quietly to Dr. Singh and Ambassador Lee. "We have faced a challenge that no other species has faced, and we have not only survived, we have earned respect. This is the true meaning of human strength." Dr. Singh nodded. "It is not our weapons that saved us, nor our numbers. It is our intelligence, creativity, and moral courage. The galaxy has learned what we have always known. Humanity adapts, learns, and perseveres." Ambassador Lee smiled. "And now we can show the galaxy the next step: cooperation, peace, and progress. Humans are ready, not just to survive, but to lead." The stars above Earth were quiet, yet alive with possibility. Humanity had proven itself in the face of overwhelming odds. The Council had voted to enslave them, yet now they were the ones asking for mercy. And humanity, united, intelligent, and morally strong, had shown that the greatest power in the galaxy was not fear or domination. It was the courage to think, the ability to adapt, and the wisdom to act with honor. The journey of humans among the stars had only begun, but their place in the galaxy was secure. They had turned a vote for enslavement into a testament of their ingenuity, resilience, and moral strength. The galaxy had learned an unforgettable lesson: underestimate humanity at your own risk.